Hi Professor, my name is Vikram Sharma. My student ID is 232626762. So I'm gonna make video what I have grabbed from week 9. So the learning objects of these weeks are define white collar crime and provide Canadian examples. Identify the social groups who are victims of white collar crime. Know how criminologists explain corporate offending. Be able to describe various types of political crime. Understand the nature of police deviance. Be aware that crime is committed within institutions regarded with trust, religious organizations, the medical profession, education, the law. Understand translation crime. So, introduction. How do criminologists explain why a group of people who appear to have a great stake in conformity commit more crime than impoverished inner city youth? The focus of this chapter is on white collar corporate crime, transnational, environmental, and political crime. Analysis then turns to be wrongdoing committed by police, religious leaders, and others in positions of trust. So, white collar crime that is committed by a person of respectability and high social status in the course of his occupation. Broaden definition of crime and stop focusing exclusively on crimes committed by the socially disadvantaged. Groups engaging in these crimes are overlooked because of their high social and economic status. Sutherland argued that this needs to be changed and led by example. Just before the beginning of the Second World War, he compiled a list of white-collar crimes that occurred: misrepresentations in financial statements of corporations, manipulation in the stock exchange, commercial bribery of public officials regarding contracts and legislation, misrepresentation in advertising and sales, embezzlement and misappropriation of funds, misapplications of funds in receiverships and bankruptcies. White collar crime and corporate crime take place within the context of business world. The difference between two comes down to who benefits from illegal activity. White collar crime beneficiary is an individual. Corporate crime beneficiary is the corporation. What they have in common: very limited response by criminal justice system despite being big losses. So, occupational crime: individuals who commit crime within the course of their employment. Example: theft, fraud, insider trading, and Ponzi scheme. Returns are paid to investors from their own money or money from other investors rather than from actual profits earned. Requires an ever increasing flow of money from investors to keep going. Pyramid scheme requires that participants pay for the right to recruit other people into the scheme, at which point they receive money. Limited data on white collar and corporate crime. Information about corporate crime is rather limited. Any official information is available about those who are charged or convicted of corporate wrongdoing. There are no reliable large-scale sale report surveys that contain information about the prevalence of this type of crime throughout society. Corporations are deemed persons under the law, but they are not subjected to the same laws pertaining to persons. Impact is not only financial. Public health can also be affected via contamination of air, soil and water, as well as via faculty products. The odds weigh heavily in favor of corporations, not only because of their wealth but because of their status under the law. The operation of a steel plant in Sydney, Nova Scotia has created the largest toxic waste site in eastern Canada. Corporate pollution in Canada is also in the pulp and paper industry and resource exploitation, logging and mining oil. The public as victim. E. coli contaminated municipal drinking water in Walkerton in Ontario in May 2007. People died and half of the town's population became ill. The result of Ontario government deregulating municipal drinking water. Crime against consumers. So automobile industry has long history of committing corporate crimes against customers. In the 1970s, Ford manufactured the Pinto with a defective fuel system, leading the car to catch fire after a collision. Executives decide against a recall or to retool assembly line machinery because of the unwanted cost that would be incurred less than $1 per vehicle. They carried out a cost benefit analysis which resulted in profits over human consideration. So price fixing. Companies set fixed price on goods or services which they then sell, leading to higher prices for consumers than if there was a normal competition for consumers, like there was a normal competition. In late 2017, Loblaws admitted that it had fixed the price of bread in Canada with 6 other companies for 15 years, leading them to receiving immunity from criminal charges. They offered their customers a $25 gift card only redeemable at stores belonging to their corporate group. Besides, the public corporation can also be adversely affected by unsurplus practices of other corporations. Workers as victims. Occupational death, the third leading cause of death in Canada. Like fluorspar is a mineral used in manufacture of such products as aluminium, gasoline and insulating foam. It was implicated in the slow and agonizing deaths of miners whose lungs had been contaminated by high levels of radon gas, lithium in 1975. Miners have long expressed health concerns over their work environment, but their knowledge was ignored and devalued. State corporate crime, illegal or socially injurious actions that occur when one or more institutions of political governance pursue a goal in direct cooperation with one or more institutions of economic production and distribution. Causes of white collar crime, like white collar criminal opportunities, white collar decision making, the characteristics of white collar offenders. So political crime, yeah. Crimes committed against the state in 1970. Quebec terrorists known as the Front de Liberation du Quebec, devoted to bringing out a sovereign and socialist Quebec. Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau responded to these terrorist tactics by invoking the controversial War Measures Act. In the USA, think of the storming of a Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. on 6/10/2021, where then President Trump was accused of inciting the insurrection. So political crime countdown. Crimes committed by the state. Robocalls scandal during the 2011 federal elections. Passing of legislation that may violate the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, such as the Anti-Terrorism Act. Police misconduct. Police misconduct is defined as situations when the actions of police officers are inconsistent, when the officer's legal authority, organizational authority and standards of ethical conduct. Barker and 1986. Example, RCMP were implicated in the theft of party cubosis. Membership lists were also found to be involved in an illegal ban burning incident in Quebec. No arrests or even repairments were given to officers involved in the accident. Long history of police misconduct and corruption in the US includes police brutality that often leads to death of mostly non-white civilizations, explaining police misconduct, the bad apple theory, one rotten apple spoils the whole barrel, the least accepted explanation criminology. So, an excellent mode of police corruption was put together by Sherman in 1974. Two sets of causes of police wrongdoing, more like constant factors and variable factors. And constant factors, the role played by discretion, um, and variable factors, culture of police organization and the culture of the community being policed, the level of moral cynicism in a community, the greater number of opportunities for corruption, the greater the likelihood that corruption will occur. So like these were the things, professor, which I have grabbed from week 9. And my name is Vikram Sharma. My student ID is 2326762. Thank you.